Okay, so we're continuing with this IGP. Now, what we're looking at is we're looking at the RIP on router 5 and on router 6. Now, in this screen, we're only looking at the OSPF being exported out of the RIP. So we're looking at router 5 and router 6 and the RIP export. Okay, so the first step of this is on router 3 and router 6, the ABRs. We want to inject into area 0001 a default LSA. So set protocol, OSPF, area 001, NSSA, default LSA, we're giving it a default metric of 10. And we're doing that on both router 3 and on router 6. Now, router 5 here is feeling the benefit of that because, of course, it's a router in the area, like router 4, and it can receive that route and it can feel the benefit. However, router 6 is generating that route itself, and it's a little bit close. Now, there are different ways of looking at this, but really the bottom line is that the route that router 6 is wanting to generate, it's not going to be able to export it to RIP at the same time. It's just too close. Router 6 is really feeling the pressure of being an ABR and an SBR. Router 5, however, is quite happy to export this default route out to RIP. It's a RIP export. We're going to filter it on the way back. Router 6, though, will need some help. So what we're going to do on router 6 is set routing options, aggregate route. We're going to put this aggregate route on router 6 so that it's able to export this route. Now, when we look at the policy statement on 5 and 6, set policy options, policy statement, OSPF to RIP, and remember this is going to be exported out of the RIP. Term 1, from route filter 00, tag it, set a metric, different metric between 5 and 6, and accept it. When we look at this from route filter, there's no source protocol. Now on router 5, we could happily set from OSPF. However, on the router 6, we've left that blank and it's actually effectively grabbing the aggregate route. Either which way, this aggregate route is required to bring this 00 live so that we can export it to RIP. So although we say OSPF to RIP, we're really using this aggregate to help that route go live and be exported. Of course, as we're going out of the RIP, we're going to get bounce back from data center 1. So we've got a RIP import, set protocol RIP, group DCI, import RIP filter. Now, the RIP filter policy statement is really the inverse of the export statement with a reject. So set policy options, policy statement, RIP filter, term 1 from protocol RIP, from tag 1234, then reject. So we're rejecting the RIP bounce back from the RIP export. And then in the next screen, we're going to be looking at the RIP as an OSPF export. So we're going to be looking at the OSPF export from this area out. We're going to be looking at the complications on that.